It's Friday, March 29th, Saturday, March 30th. If you're on the East Coast, across the pond, or down under, and this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. Hope you had a great day and night. We made it to the weekend. I am your host, Dave Scott, broadcasting to you live from the Great White North, on top of the mountains of central British Columbia, right here at SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including Deep Talk Radio and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot, go shopping at our Spaced Out Radio store because it's a great way to support this show, and read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire and much more. Tonight's show is brought to you by the YouTube channel Ensuho. Sebastian Martin brings high-quality messages to the masses. Head to our website, click on the Ensuho banner, and subscribe today. The final Friday of the month means we take a look back at the month that was in the weird, strange, and wacky in a show we call around these parts, the SOR Paranormal Round Table. This is where I bring in some friends to hang out, chat about the topics at hand. Nobody knows what the questions are, and I'll be honest with you, in fact, I don't even know what they are tonight. We're winging it. But it will be good. It will be entertaining because we are joined by GUFON Radio's Little Richie Giordano and Everett Themer. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. Always appreciate you guys coming on.
Oh, it's always a privilege to come on.
Great to be here. Yeah, thanks.
I got to tell you, I am so tired today, guys. I am so tired.
Do you have that whole intro memorized?
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Does it seem like it? Does it seem like it?
No, it's just very, it's normal. It's just a natural way to say. I was just asking.
No, and I think that's actually a pretty good question. You say it every 5 nights a week. It finally starts to click in that you may actually memorize a couple words here and there. But I can tell you this. I had a long week this week. And for those who don't know, I've been working 2 jobs out there. And I've been working 2 full-time jobs because the radio show is a full-time job, and then I have my daytime career, which I had to go back to for a little while as well. And I'll tell you, I hit Fridays now. I am zonked, absolutely zonked. And I realize that a lot of people on radio are like, God, I don't want to hear this from my host. This isn't right. This isn't kosher, not very Christian. I've come here to be entertained, not to be tired by some guy. But no, man. Like, thank goodness that intro and hearing that Bumblefoot music just gives me a spike. You know what I'm saying? You need that Bumblefoot.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's the perfect intro song.
It is. It absolutely is. And you know what? I'm very excited. I was reading on his Facebook today that there's a new musical, just instrumental, coming out by him. I'm excited to hear it.
Is it going to be some of his solo work, or is it going to be...
Yeah, solo.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm going to get jacked up on Pepsi here because I have a full bottle staring at me right now, sitting on my desk. But Rich Giordano from GUFON Radio, thank you so much for coming on in. And Everett Themer, thank you for joining me as well. We're going to start off right off the bat here, guys. As, you know, we have a lot of topics that come on out. And John Tenney brought up a very, very good topic the other night. And it was in regards to the year of ufology and why ufology is so popular. And we kind of turned that conversation into paranormal television. And one of the things that he said, because it's been all over social media, that Paranormal Lockdown has been canceled. And John said he knows about another 12 to 15 brand new paranormal shows, mostly UFOs, are going to be on the air within the next few months. Is it time to hopefully see some fresh faces on some of these shows, Rich?
Yeah, that you're definitely going to see with that much activity. Well, you know, Elizondo, right? He's got his little 6-episode series coming out in May. I mean, he's kind of new to the TV show thing, right? So him and, although not for us, but, for the TV people out there that aren't into ufology, they'll see a lot of new faces. I think they would have to at this point. To the Stars Academy is kind of new, and Elizondo and making all this noise and all the talk on the videos and everything else. Yeah, you're going to get a lot of different people. I'm excited.
I'm excited too, but I'm more curious, Everett, how many people they're going to rehash under a different title, because that's all we've really seen over the last 15 years.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of that. But have you noticed that some of these shows, like you said, and I don't know if you meant it exactly this way, but they will literally retitle a show and play the exact same show you saw a year ago. And there's not only that, but there's the rehashing of topics too. We keep going over the same, 10, 15 UFO cases. I want to see, I hope something new comes out of this, but I have a feeling that this is more of the media companies riding the To the Stars wave, kind of like we had that sort of the wave of all the ghost shows, and then all, I think what the original was kind of this round. Excuse me, was what Ghost Hunters. I think you're going to see what.
You just sounded like your throat was crackling there, so I thought I would jump in.
It is a little bit. It's been that kind of day around here, but I think that this is just the marketing companies or the media companies cashing in on kind of this wave of interest in ufology. And I have a feeling that while we may see a few new faces, I think that they're going to go back to the old standbys just because of their reputations and the media companies' desire to gain some ratings.
I understand, Rich, it would be all about ratings, as Everett said, and you do have to have a couple of those old school names in order to kind of lure the people in, because even though they may not know the names of Grant Cameron or Richard Dolan or people like that, they know the faces. It's much easier to recognize a face than a name. I mean, look at Stanton Friedman. For years, I didn't know his name, but I sure recognized that grouchy look and those pointy eyebrows. You know what I'm saying? And the whole point that I'm getting at is you're going to have shows who have that. But, and we've talked about it numerous times on this show, but I'll bring this up again. I'm really hoping, Rich, and I know you're probably going to fall into this category too, that a lot of these new UFO shows that are going to be popping up in the United States will at least have done their homework on the backgrounds of the people they're bringing in.
You would think. And then they go ahead and they destroy that TV show, the Project Blue Book. I know it was made for TV, but I didn't expect that to be the way it was. And it was just filled with a bunch of, fakery, made up stuff for TV. I hope that we do get to see some deep, I guess you could say, investigative journalism.
Wow. Sensitive topic. Sensitive topic.
Yeah, I would love to see that. And I think we might get it. I think if they're coming out with all these different shows, we're going to get the same old thing and we're going to have some new stuff. But think about it. What can they do that they haven't done already? It's like, I would like to see a UFO show with new faces. And they just go UFO hunting, and they go shopping for cameras, teach you how to do it, show old footage, new footage, get people talking about it. They haven't done that. They haven't really analyzed footage like I would like to see them do professionally. Just do a show like that instead of always, same old thing.
Can I ask a question, Dave?
Yeah.
Do you guys think that the History Channel has any credibility issues on the line here? I mean, they came out with Project Blue Book, which was kind of like, X-Files 3.0? I mean, there was so little fact left in that when they were done that it was hard to call it even based on or inspired by true stories after a while. And now, coming with this next round, what what kind of responsibility do they have to the viewers of the quote unquote History Channel to show actual data or actual events? And do they have any credibility, or is their reputation on the line at all with the UFO community?
Rich, do you want to jump in, or should I?
No, I think it's just to briefly say that it has to do with being interesting, and I don't think they need to lie in a subject that is unbelievable anyway. So I think if they did their journalism and did their writing very well, this could be a great time for ufology. I think we might actually, Dave, I'll let you jump in because I don't have much more else to say, but I think this might be, the next golden era for UFOs.
I think you're right on that, Rich, but here's the one thing I want to say about Everett's question. When it comes to ufology and what we're going to be seeing on TV, the mainstream public, for the most part, doesn't understand, and I could be talking out of line here, but I don't think they understand that based on a true story means maybe a last name or a road or something along those lines, like we have seen, like us involved in Project Blue Book or watching Project Blue Book that were involved in the field of ufology, or as Rich likes to say, UFology. We will, we will break it down. We will say, okay, that's not real. That's not real. I mean, Kathleen Martin was very upset with the way Betty and Barney Hill were portrayed in that movie or in that television show. We pick it out. But the main thing is the mainstream public, whether it's a movie or whether it isn't, and it's just a television show, I don't think they care. When they see based on a true story, they're going to be telling their friends, oh, did you see Project Blue Book last night about that story that J. Allen Hynek was, watching a bunch of aliens eat pickles? Wow, and pickles.
And you know what it does? And then it gets people saying, no, they didn't. It gets people arguing about what was real and what wasn't. It's really a bad thing they did by putting that show like that and saying it's based on stories that actually happened. Well, loosely, I don't know.
Absolutely.
You're using the word loosely, awfully loosely, though.
True.
Well, I mean, the point that I'm getting at with that is I recall back when I saw Fire in the Sky, in my opinion, that's what happened to Travis Walton. They said it's based on a true story. I was one of those naive people. I'm like, oh, no, I don't like aliens, man. I saw what happened to Travis Walton in Fire in the Sky. Absolutely. Absolutely. I believed everything about it. Right? I was that naive. And there's a lot of people out there that are like that. And when you have, these shows, whether it's Project Blue Book or we're going to have somebody else go out and maybe a barista or something like that, go back out to Roswell and tell us something not new, we're going to be able to say those people who are watching for the first time, or maybe who just have a mild interest in UFOs, oh, wow, look at that. We have investigative journalists out in Roswell looking for new evidence 70 years later. Come on. But that's what television tries to capture, Rich. And unfortunately, it'll pull the wool right over the mainstream eyes.
Yeah, so it's dangerous for in our minds. It is, if they don't do it properly and just embellish as much as they can to make the story exciting when it's exciting all on its own anyway. I don't know why they would have to do that. Let's see what happens. You think maybe some of these people would have learned their lessons with previous shows, unless they have. I keep seeing the same producers and the same people making these shows too, so I hope we get a lot of new directors and producers and writers. But if they could just follow somebody around, do a show like that, I think that would be interesting. Somebody in the field.
And please stop giving us these cheesy remakes of recreations of what happened. Right. Where you have these, Y and Z League actors portraying the fear when they're squinting and holding their hands up about 3 feet apart, squinting, trying to block the light from the UFO in the sky. Oh, it's so bright. I can't see. And then, why does every show have that scene? Or if you're doing a Bigfoot show, they always get back to replaying the Bluff Creek Sasquatch incident, right? And they put it in slow motion, the same film, and then they cut it. About 6 times we have to watch the female Bigfoot turn and look at the camera. I'm tired of that. Let's just rock and roll. Give us something new.
What would what do you want to see? What do you suggest then?
Find some new stories.
That's the thing. It's hard. I think a lot of the stories may have been told, or they're looking at people and seeing who looks credible on TV. Maybe, I don't know.
But if they're looking at people who may seem credible, why do they then turn the story into something that's so fictionalized?
I know. That's right.
B. Baker in the chat room on Spreaker says, on paranormal shows, can we please stop hearing about Roswell and Rendlesham Forest? My God, I just booked a Rendlesham guest tonight for May. I'm scared now.
But it's not on TV, so it'll be different.
True. Very true.
And you'll be directing it. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's just like these paranormal ghost shows, where they're always at some insane asylum. It's always Allegheny, or it's always what's the other popular one?
Waverly Hills.
Right.
Waverly Hills. I mean, are there more than 2 out there? Do we have to go back to Waverly Hills every 3rd week?
Well, that's where something that Rich had mentioned kind of comes into play. Maybe if there were some new producers out there and some new directors, some of these new places might be found or might have their stories told, because I do know of, it's certainly not famous, but it's another insane asylum in my area that within this community, within, the Chicago area, has an enormous history of hauntings and things like that going on. But you never hear about it on any of these shows because they're always busy at Waverly Hills or Trans-Allegheny, or maybe this time they're at Alcatraz. But there are these places out there. They just need some new viewpoints or new perspectives to go out and find these stories.
Oh, I would agree with you. And, it's not that the stories aren't out there, right? They just try to get the angle because those are the areas everybody knows. I think that's the problem. Like when it comes to UFOs, why do we never hear a big special about Kecksburg or some of the other crash sites? Vegas, Battle of L.A., Shag Harbor, Aztec crash. But every show has Roswell. Every show. I mean, if it's like for a UFO show, I would love to live in. If I was part of that tourism board that brings people to the Roswell Festival every year, I would be just loving that, because all the free advertising you get from the 98 UFO shows that talk about Roswell each week.
But maybe we're looking at it from the wrong perspective, because they are ultimately trying to sell this to people who maybe aren't as deep into it as we are. So they've heard a little bit about Waverly Hills or Roswell, so they watch another show on it, and then they watch another show on it thinking that, well, they're getting a little bit more information. Maybe it's just kind of a self-feeding monster, and it's up to the UFO community or the paranormal community to go out there and change that.
God of Thunder on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio makes a good comment. He says, there are no new stories. The UFO paranormal luminaries are now only interested in making as much money as possible. The sheep seem to be willingly tossing their money in their direction. And I think there's a big part of that.
That's exactly what it is. You, me, everybody else, that do this every day, whatever. I mean, we're like 1% of the population that cares. They don't care about us. They're going to do whatever they want. It's about money. That's all it is. It's always been that. Now, I think they would make more money if they did it right, Dave. I think they would. And there was a time where I didn't know about Waverly Hills or anything else. Everything has to have a beginning. So they could put that in the title of the show, places we've never been before, something like that. New place every week. No rehash. But in UFO world, there's not a lot you could do. I guess, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. They need to do something different. And I think if they followed around, maybe a MUFON member, do a show where you follow one of them around, follow a researcher, follow a radio host. How do they get their information? Who are they interviewing? Let's interview that guy. Never heard of him. They could do that and make it work. You just need new eyes, need new vision. That's what's missing.
Vision. That's a huge word, Rich. Huge word. Because, Everett, I'm sure you'll agree, as we got about 1 minute left here before we go to break at the bottom of the hour, we really, really have to open the eyes, because there's a lot of good stories out there that just have not been told. And if we could delve into those stories, how much better would the television be, rather than the rehashing of everything we've already seen for about the 87,000th time?
But I think the stories would be better, the television would be better, but the audience would be less, because they want the scare factor. They want to hear about those the places that have the reputations. In a sense, they want to keep hearing about Waverly Hills because it scares them. It's entertaining. It's creepy to them, and that's what pulls them in, and that's what gets the audience.
It's amazing, though, how, and I'll take it to break here, it's amazing, though, how television is making a ton of money off of paranormal reality television shows. And they're expanding the roster as big as it's ever been in television history. Yet the radio stations still have not caught up. Money on one side, don't want it on the other, for the most part.
Ain't that true?
But we're gonna change that, because we're Spaced Out Radio, and we'll be back right after this.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Hi, George Norrie here. Are you ready for UFO MegaCon, the immersion event? 7 days, 8 nights, 50 new speakers, UFO military witnesses, experiencer groups, skywatches, and so much more. Join me at UFO MegaCon, March 24th through the 30th in Laughlin, Nevada. Truly the one and only new information conference of the year. Now check it out at UFOMegaCon.com. That's UFOMegaCon.com.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters, getting ready for the weekend. Hope you are too. Remember, a great way to support this show is to head on over to our website, spacedoutradio.com, click on the shop banner, go do a little shopping for yourself. You deserve it. You deserve to buy yourself something new. Get a t-shirt, hats, hoodies, coffee mugs, and more at our store. Remember, it's a great way to support what we do on a nightly basis. It's the SOR Paranormal Round Table. It happens the final Friday of every month. A little bit more of an intimate and interactive panel tonight as good friends of this show, GUFON Radio's little Richie Giordano is here, along with Everett Themer. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on this Friday night.
Glad to be here.
Always fun.
Where did that energy come from? Let me tell you something, brother.
Is that Red Bull kicking in?
Yeah, I guess it is.
Well, there we
myself. Go. All right.
Now, Everett, you made an interesting comment regarding John Tenney during the break.
I did. I was rather proud of that comment. But what I was saying is, we're talking about media and shows and hauntings and things like that. And he had talked about, tulpas? And people creating their own hauntings. And I'm wondering how many of these people that are experiencing hauntings or what they believe to be hauntings are maybe doing that, where they, back 20 years ago, you hear a weird noise and you think a pipe is, rattling in the basement. Well, now they've seen so many of these shows that they hear a noise and they go right to the paranormal right away. And then they begin to kind of look for other signs and they begin to create their own hauntings. I'm curious about, what your guys' thoughts would be.
Well, I'll even say it. I've said that before, but I thought you were going to say something else, like people give off the energy and they create the hauntings because they keep thinking about hearing something, hearing footsteps. And I thought you were going to go in that direction because that's what I thought. I started believing that maybe people have this energy that they create what they're thinking with their minds, because your mind is energy. So if you have a collective group of people and they're all thinking the same thing, oh my gosh, I'm going to see an apparition. I'm going to see a little girl. I'm going to see the ball move. All of a sudden the ball moves. So, I don't know I don't think that's the direction you were going in, but that's what I believe is happening with some of these. And if you were to look the other way, the way you meant it to sound and did, I just, I was just double checking to make sure how you were, introducing the topic. I think it's true. They do find making their own, not noises, but anytime they hear something like Bigfoot in the forest, they hear something like a loud knock on the tree, the wood knocking. It could have been anything. A tree branch could have fallen, hit another branch, but all of a sudden they're being talked to. And Bigfoot knows we're here. So I think they do that in these paranormal shows. They create their own hauntings by hearing things that aren't really there, seeing things. Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right in regards to that. And you look at those two young schoolgirls who are now in jail for stabbing their friend, 30, 40 times because the so-called Slender Man told them to do so. Now, I believe one of the girls did have psychological problems, but nonetheless, I mean, that's the power of these tulpas when we're putting energy into things. And it can be a little bit dangerous, especially if kids don't give it the respect, number one. I mean, how many times did we hear you never heard of Slender Man when we were that age, in teenage age. But, I mean, how many times did you hear your friends, oh, my God, we were playing with a Ouija board last night, and all of a sudden the light bulb started exploding, and my cat started losing hair, and, my dog said his name was Ralph. That's just the way it goes. I think we are.
Nobody names their dog Ralph.
Well, you're right.
What's wrong with? Hold on a second, Rich. What's wrong with naming a dog Ralph?
That's a Canadian thing, I think.
That's a north of the border kind
Your
of.
Your dog is named Angus. Rich.
Yeah. Think about Angus though. Angus Young, AC/DC. Hello. Not just Ralph. I saw Hit It, Ralph. What is the name of that movie? Smack It, Ralph.
Whack It, Ralph.
Whack It, Ralph.
You guys are killing me.
Good Ralph. Well,
you guys are killing me.
But going back to what you were saying, I didn't think of it that way. That they are creating it by actually acting out stuff. Is that what you meant?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't think of that. But I don't think we see that on these TV shows where they're acting it out. Do you?
Well, we rarely see anything on the paranormal TV shows.
That's true. Good point.
I don't know. It's a little weird, but I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that as popular television keeps blowing up the paranormal world. And as long as the ratings are there, they're going to keep the programs going. They're absolutely going to keep the programs going. Why wouldn't they? And because people are now going to get, that younger generation is going to get a little bit more interested in testing things out because they're a hell of a lot more curious than what we are and the generations before us. I think we're in for a lot more tulpas out there, Everett.
We could be. I don't know. Listening to Tenny about the way he discussed that idea, it just kind of pulled me in to look at some of the stuff a little bit differently. I mean, if we're creating it, what does that mean in regards to the spirituality side of the paranormal? If you're creating the haunting, then it's not necessarily your Aunt Angus or Agnes, from 50 years ago that's trying to give you a message. Is it just something you're creating? And not necessarily paranormal, but some sort of physics we don't understand.
That could very much be. That's
what I meant. Like maybe there's physics with us. When you go out and do these things, it's the collective mind creating energy, maybe. I mean, there's a lot of woo out there, as you would say. But, I mean, that is some sort of reality, though. That, your brain is energy and it can create, I don't know. Thoughts are things, right? Yeah,
I love me some good woo. Love me some good woo. That's all I'm going to say. And my dog's name is Doug, so I can't really say too much.
Doug and Ralph. Yep, that's Canadian stuff, man. That's north of the border.
Yeah. What are you talking about? I just give them personalities. I even gave my dogs last names. I got 3 dogs.
I know. My dog's name is Angus, so I know. I can't get
What's the last name? Did you give him Giordano as the last name?
Yes, of course. What am I going to give him?
See, I gave my dogs all like spy names, like Zero Peterman, Doug Stevenson, and Shadow Carpenter.
Well, that's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
My dog died, so I'm feeling a little sad.
I know, and I still feel horrible about that. Because what are you? It's about 2 months now, Ev, that your dog passed?
It's 3.
3 months?
It's been
that's horrible. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. But let's move on here, gentlemen. Let's move on. Because sticking with the paranormal, earlier this month we had a gentleman on named Jason Haxton who used to own the Dybbuk box that Zach Bagans teased us with on his 1 hour special or 2 hour special that he was going to open the Dybbuk box and, see if he got possessed by whatever is in that Dybbuk box. Now, Rich, you're somebody who has tested some of these theories out with the Ouija board. And I'm going to say you had success with that. Maybe not in a good way, but you had some success with that. And if you had a Dybbuk box, which is an ancient Jewish wine box that is said to be cursed, would you open it?
Wow, I did a show about that a while back. Would I? And I think I would, but not at first. I think what would happen was I would get it, and I'd keep looking at it every day and thinking, okay, what's the worst that can happen? I open it up, take a look, close it real quick. But then once you close it, it's out. You can't put it back in. So you're stuck with the opening it and leaving it open. And if I did that, which I know I would, then I just have to deal with the consequences. And now, I guess now, I don't know, man. That was years ago. But ever since what happened with this, but that's the thing, Dave. I'm still skeptical on it because I think there's got to be a logical explanation. So I probably would still open it and take the chance for research, for investigative purposes, to be an investigative journalist.
Well, hey,
well,
not everybody could be that,
That's true. You might as well make up the title. I definitely would open it. Not right away, but I definitely would open it.
How about you, Ev?
Oh, I'd open it right away. I'm looking for those experiences. I mean, we can talk about other people's experiences and we can hear stories. I have had weird experiences, but I haven't had those definitive experiences yet. And if you gave me a box like that, I would have it open probably before I got into the house.
I don't know if I would. I mean, you're not opening up a book or a bag of chips. You're getting something that could actually possess you for the rest of your life.
But has that ever been proven? Really? Not really.
Oh, here we go with the proof argument again. You and your proof argument. Always wanting proof.
How can we say, or how can somebody call themselves an investigative journalist if they're not going to investigate the situation? I mean, if you hand me a box like that, I have to open it. I have to experience and investigate, and whatever happens, happens.
That's right.
Oh, I'm
That's
sure
why
saying
I did the Ouija board.
Yeah. That Ouija board story. I love that story, by the way. I love that story.
Well, thank you. But that's why I did it. Because I wanted to reach out to the devil and see if it's real. People getting lifted up and thrown against the wall. Do it to me. But it never happened. I got hit another way.
Yeah, you got hit all right, buddy. You got hit. If anybody, Rich, honestly, one of these days, I know you've told like a little bit of an in-depth version of that, but one of these nights we're going to actually have to bring you on the show to go real hardcore in-depth start to finish, because I think you told the story in like 15 minutes, but I know you were leaving out a lot of details, and I definitely want that story on the air here. I really do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it would be great. Yeah, I'd love to do that because, there's other things that happened afterwards that were really just bizarre, So we'll have to do that.
And
for sure.
How did all of that affect your views on the paranormal or your views on Ouija boards, or how did that change you?
It did. It did change me. Completely did. Not a whole 180, mind you, but as far as the psychic world or that kind of world, because before that happened, I saw and recorded my dog's little bone container moving. I didn't know it moved, but I caught it on video and was reviewing the video, and it moved 6 inches. And I said, wait a minute, man. did I just see what I just saw? Then I had to do a show. So I didn't really look into it immediately until after the show was over. But I didn't realize that would have led up to other things happening. Hearing noises, seeing shadows, dreaming of things that are grotesque, bodies melting, death and destruction. It's like usually when I have dreams, man, they're pretty cool. I'm flying around, whatever. But this got into another dimension of sight and sound, man. It was weird. And it's still happening, not as much. Dave knows of an astral cleansing, Dave? Is that what I kind of had?
Yeah, Megan from Forest Moon Paranormal had come over and was helping you out there.
And I am, 2:30 in the morning, and she's doing this, and I fell asleep with a major headache, woke up and felt great, and still to this day felt pretty good till recently. But it did change me because now I have to look at people's stories differently. Because if it happened to me, it could have happened to them. But it made me a better person as a researcher because now I know a little more and had experience with it. Now, could it have been all just a coincidence? Sure. And I still believe that it might be, but I'm 51% thinking now could have been something spiritual, 49%, there's a logical explanation. Ask me in a week. It'll change. So I still don't know. That's why I would open the box, because I still need more. It wasn't enough to get attacked and have my throat, and all this other stuff happen, because that could have been a coincidence. I don't know, but man, it was some coincidence. So that's why it's changed me. I've seen things move. I've seen and had weird things happen during this whole time. And it all started when I tried making contact with the devil with the Ouija board.
Yeah, we're going to have to bring you on for that. That story is just incredible. Just incredible. Everett, we got about 4 minutes before we got to go to break. You had an experience that you wanted to tell on the air.
Oh, I don't know that I really wanted to tell it. I mean,
well, you're going to. You're going to. We're going to twist your arm for this. This is freaky.
I got home this afternoon and I was doing a little bit of yard work, cleanup work outside, and I have a 6-year-old step granddaughter who happened to be over, and she just walked up to me and she just kept saying the word death. She's like, death, death, death. And I asked her what she meant. And basically what she said was, and this is a 6-year-old that I don't think really has much of a clue about what death is. And she said that basically death, her words were, death is all around you and you cannot escape it. And she got silent for a minute. And then she tells me that death will be looking for me tomorrow. And then she just walks away.
Oh, nice. So what you're saying is your step-granddaughter is the spawn of Satan himself.
I wouldn't say that. But, I don't know if it was her words that were creepy or the fact that a little 6-year-old girl just walked up to me and said these things. And it's not at all like her personality. And she said these things, and it was just like, for a second, a scene out of a movie and kind of weird. And then she went back to playing.
Did you at least question the parent of the child to say, where would your child learn something like this?
I haven't had that opportunity yet. And in fact, you and Joe Algier are the only ones that I've told this story to until now. I haven't even told Tracy.
Incredible.
And the reason for that is I actually told Joe before I even mentioned it at all to you, because if by some odd chance death comes looking for me and finds me tomorrow, I'd like to leave a little bit of evidence or a little bit of something people can study.
Now, I bet you wish you recorded that.
Kind of. Didn't even think about it at the time, though. Wasn't even expecting it.
Rich, what's your thoughts on that?
That's just wild stuff, man. So where could she have heard it? Could she have heard any of this talk from you?
No, she has no clue about my interest in any of this. Her parents don't really have an interest in any of it. I mean, she's a 6-year-old girl on spring break from kindergarten. I imagine she could have heard something like that in a movie or something like that. But literally, she was playing outside in the dirt with some, trucks and a dollhouse kind of thing. And she just came up to me and said that and walked away.
That is so weird. I have no, unless something made her do it, or she just decided to be weird. Kids are strange.
It could be.
Well, see what else that's one of those things you have to see what happens with,
Well, you guys will have to see what happens, because if I die, I'm probably, pretty much out of the picture until I get back to haunt y'all. But
hold on a second. I want to make a request here before you check out tomorrow after the premonition. Could you quickly change your will and say that, Dave gets your guitars?
Oh, Rich gets one.
Oh, God, I got to get to the lawyer early tomorrow. I hope this doesn't happen.
Just say yes now. Just say yes now.
Just say yes now. We got proof then. It's all recorded, my friend.
I did promise some to Joe Allgaier.
All right, split it up.
Fine. So between me, Allgaier, and Rich, we get to split the guitar collection. What's it at, about 35, 40?
Oh, my God, I'll take what they don't want.
It's only at about 17 or 18.
God, I would love that.
All right, I get the Gibson's Les Pauls. I'm calling them right now. Shotgun.
What do I get, a banjo?
I got some American-made Fenders.
Oh, that's cool. All right. I get the Fenders.
You can have a couple. You can have an Epiphone. I have a couple of Epiphones you could have.
Oh, cool. Yeah, thank you. Oh, I hope nothing happens, though. That would be weird, man.
Yeah, it would be. It would be completely weird. But we will take care of your guitars in honor. Guys, hold on here. We're going to go to break here at the top of the hour. The SOR Paranormal Round Table happens the final Friday of every month. Tonight we are joined by Everett, who we're hoping doesn't drop dead tomorrow. Although his guitar collection coming this way would be nice. And Little Richie G from GUFON Radio on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. We will be back with more SOR right after this.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
Hi, George Norrie here. Are you ready for UFO MegaCon, the immersion event? 7 days, 8 nights, 50 new speakers, UFO military witnesses, experiencer groups, skywatches, and so much more. Join me at UFO MegaCon, March 24th through the 30th in Laughlin, Nevada. Truly the one and only new information conference of the year. Now check it out at UFOMegaCon.com. That's UFOMegaCon.com.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
On the first Tuesday of every month, I encourage you to come along for a journey with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You. Together, we will take a look at how to access the highest expression of yourself and change your life. Consciousness, ET contact, health, and wellness, we can talk about it all. So come along for a spiritual ride with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You, only on Spaced Out Radio.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Welcome back to the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. Oh, goodness. Some of the antics that go on during the commercial breaks. Tomorrow night and Sunday, Tessa Nicole Thomas is back with Spaced Out Weekend because we do this thing 7 days a week. She gets going at 9 o'clock Pacific, midnight Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, and in Noonan, Georgia, WQEE 99.1 FM on the digital side. Hi to everyone listening in on Revolution Radio and Deep Talk Radio. Great to have you with us. Remember, all of our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Xenodokionology. Xenodokionology is your password. Make sure you use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on the mighty SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot. Do a little shopping at our Spaced Out Radio store because that's a great way to support what we do. Read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire and so much more. It's the SOR Paranormal Round Table that happens the final Friday of every month, where we throw out the topics that were of the previous, well, let's say 29 days and just run with it. Tonight we are talking with Rich Giordano from GUFON Radio. Make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel. We'd appreciate that. I know he would. And of course, the Death Watch is officially on for Everett Themer. And if you missed the last hour, you'll know that his granddaughter decided to say that he will be dying tomorrow. Everett?
For me, it's today.
Right.
Okay. I think we may have a solution for this, Everett. I really do. I do. We need one of our Australian or New Zealand listeners who live in the future. They're about 15. Well, they're about 13 hours ahead of you, 14 hours ahead of you, to pop into the chat rooms and see if you're still alive over there.
Oh, that would be horrible if I wasn't, though. I mean, if somebody from Australia searched like for my obituary or something or death notice and it was there,
dude,
you know I'd have to leave the show.
You just blew my mind.
That would be heavy. That would be absolutely heavy. Hey, I want to give a couple of shout-outs here before we continue on with this. Happy birthday to one of our longtime listeners, Lisa. She is in our Spreaker chat room tonight. Happy birthday, our beautiful Lisa. Thank you so much for tuning us in on your birthday night. And a big shout-out to Uncle Dale, because he's posted a new picture. Not only does he have a Spaced Out Radio t-shirt on, but his power stash is there, and he's got a top hat on. It is a fantastic photo.
Very cool.
Oh, it is. You got to go in the SOR Space Travelers Club on Facebook to see that. It is a gorgeous picture. Absolutely gorgeous picture. His mustache just absolutely shines with that Spaced Out Radio shirt on, along with the top hat. The mustache, it's like 10 times thicker. Nice. 10 times thicker. Yeah,
Dave, will you make sure my pallbearers are wearing top hats?
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. Should we steal the Undertaker's theme song to bring you down to the
nice
out of the hearse?
Hey, everybody, let's plan Everett's death.
All right. Well, that brings an interesting question up. Interesting question. What if the Aussies, when they pop into the chat rooms, we're gonna check. We got to wait for them to show on up here. We usually get a few of them in our chat rooms, and we'll get them to figure it out. But let's continue on here, guys. In regards to this coming week, I was pleasantly surprised with the fact that on Thursday night, April 4th, the biggest guest that I have ever had on this show is coming on. This gentleman doesn't do a lot of interviews, but for those of you who know who George Knapp is,
who?
Exactly.
I was waiting for you.
He is one of the largest voices in the UFO community, if not the world. He is an investigative journalist by trade with KLAS television in Las Vegas. He's been there since 1981, so he's 38 years at the station. He has broken a plethora of stories in the UFO community, from Harry Reid recently going to the U.S. Senate, talking to fellow senators about investing taxpayer dollars into UFO research, to going back to 1989 when he broke the Bob Lazar story. Gentlemen, my question's for you, putting you on the spot. And Rich, we'll start with you. If you had 3 questions to ask George Knapp, what would you ask him?
I wish I had okay. Well, it would have one would be around Bob Lazar, of course. I would need him on video for that because, I'd like to see his body language. But we could do a voice analysis. Did any of what I guess I see, this is how hard it is. I don't know how you're going to do this next Thursday. Oh, man. I would ask him, do you think Bob Lazar lied to you about anything that should be retracted from any of these stories that were out about him? Maybe in the movie something should be retracted. Of course, he'll say no. So that's a stupid question, but I'd like to ask it just to see how he would answer it. Where did you get your degree? No, that's not a good one. How are you going to do this? What are you going to ask him?
Well,
that's why he's asking us for questions.
I'm hitting you guys up because I got to admit, when I found out on Thursday that he was going to come on, I was a little nervous, but my nerves have now kind of subsided because this is George Knapp. It's George freaking Knapp.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? It's not just anybody. This is the man, the myth, the UFO legend. Right?
Yeah.
How would you react?
I know.
I think you have to ask him what about Bob Lazar's story made him believe it. Being as fantastical as it is, what does he know that maybe we never learned or don't know or missed that made him stake his reputation on Bob Lazar?
Or could you have been wrong about Bob Lazar? Didn't mean to cut you off, but I don't know.
That would be a good one too. Well, you know what? That almost sounds a little confrontational.
Yeah, I know it's me, but I was just curious. How I would reword it, of course, but it's George freaking Knapp.
Well, I realize that.
I know, but it's like everything's flooding to my brain, but I can't form a question for George Knapp. So, why? Do you have any one question you would ask him, Dave? You don't have to give us all 3, but...
Well, I don't mind. I want to ask him right off the bat, as we get things going. What's the biggest story he has broken or most proud of outside of the UFO community?
Oh, that's a good one.
Because he's the type of reporter who still has a lot of impact. I also want to ask him about journalism today. because the unfortunate part about journalism today is people like George Knapp in old school journalists are a dying breed because to a lot of stations or radio stations or even newspapers, those types of people are very expensive on the budget. Very expensive on the budget. And ever since accountants and lawyers took over running radio stations and newspapers and television stations, we've seen a real cut of high-quality reporters because they know, why should I pay somebody $75,000, $80,000 a year, maybe $100,000 a year or more, when I can pay a kid out of school $25,000, $30,000 a year? Sure, we're going to miss the quality, but we're still going to be able to get some sort of story on the air. That's what's happened in the majority of markets out there, as the media has become very greedy towards profit. So I'm very curious about that. If I go into the UFO side of things, I do want to know how he got the Bob Lazar story on the air. And I'm going to press him on that because you guys have all heard my theory on that. I mean, I beat Rich the other day in a battle on his channel about that.
Dave, wake up. You're still dreaming.
Your listener and my listener, Rick, counted a 3 count. You were done.
First of all, you can't be your own referee in a wrestling match on air debate. You
I
were.
wasn't.
And Rick wasn't the only one. There were other people there who counted me the winner.
Well, your dog Angus is agreeing with me in the background.
No, he's yelling for me to stand up for myself because the last time I didn't. See? See? Well, that was fun nonetheless. Too bad you lost. But, I would like to George Knapp, I'd like to hear what he thinks about the president and how he treats the media, how he feels about that. Does he feel like, maybe Trump is trying to direct the narrative when they ask him questions and he just shuts people down, say, you're fake news, don't talk, leave, I mean, we've never seen I guess there has been times where presidents have done that, but not like Trump. I'd like to know how George would feel about that.
I would also like to know about if he believes, as the guy who is breaking all of these stories, I want to get his perspective on groups like To the Stars and whether or not they're controlling the media narrative. Oh, yeah. I think that's a very important, because I don't mind that George is breaking the stories. It's got to be somebody. Mm-hmm. Okay, every reporter is on the inside of something, and Knapp happens to be the public face of the media side of To the Stars, along with Leslie Kean. But I want to know what his thoughts are about controlling the narrative around the field of ufology, as well as whether or not the To the Stars Academy, if he agrees or not about the To the Stars Academy really alienating, no pun intended, the UFO community in general.
Do you think you can get a straight or get an honest, on-point answer, though?
Don't know unless you ask.
Oh, George Knapp is always honest, according to Dave. Sorry.
Well, wow. Wow, you went there, eh?
Yeah, I had to. You keep bringing up this. Angus wants me to defend myself. But I guess in one aspect he's making money, and the other one, it's not a story. So I could see, Knapp taking a break from telling the truth when he's not working. You never know. But I think, in all seriousness, that now I forgot. See, you made me lose my train of thought. I'm blaming it on you. I don't know what I was going to say. I forgot.
Jade in the chat room says, one second, Ev. Jade in the chat room on the SOR Space Travelers Club on Facebook says, I'd like to know if George Knapp thinks the TTSA is actually a CIA operative. That's a good question.
Great question.
Yeah, there are so many different directions you could take all of this in. You're going to have to sit down and think about this and make some plans.
Well, I mean, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult because, you know, I'm surprised that, and I'm extremely thankful, but I'm surprised that he agreed to go the 2.5 hours, first off. I mean, what a huge, huge compliment to do that for our listeners. I don't care so much about me, but our listeners, to do that for our listeners is pretty damn cool. Very cool. And number two, I think that he is, you know, he has basically said in the email to me, I can ask him anything. It doesn't matter how sensitive it is.
Ask him.
I will.
Ask him, do you think it's strange that he did an interview with Tyler Glockner of Secure Team? But then he'll say, well, 2.2 million subscribers, but still.
Are you talking about Lazar? Oh,
yeah, I'm sorry. I was
just...
Didn't he? With Lazar?
I don't think George was there. It was just Jeremy and Bob that night, I believe.
Oh, that's right. So
Jeremy
what does he
Corbell
think
and
of
Bob
what
Lazar.
does he think about Bob Lazar going on? Did that boost credibility, or did it matter? I don't know if that would be a question you'd want to throw at him, but I know it's something we've discussed.
Yeah, you went pretty hard. You went pretty hard on that on GUFON Radio. And hey, I want to remind our listeners, if you haven't subscribed to Rich's YouTube channel, GUFON Radio, yet, go do it. It's a lot of fun.
They won't.
Well,
like
they should, because I'll tell you, a lot of people wonder at times what I'm doing previous to a show, and when you're on the air, I'm watching you, and it's a good laugh and a good relaxer for me to be able to listen to your show before coming into mine, man. It really is.
Yeah, you know, what do they call that? The guilty pleasure. Some people I've heard. That's a good way to put my show. It's like people don't want to admit they watch or listen, but they do.
Oh yeah, well, of course they do. Of course they do.
I want to see what antics what's happening today. But it's serious too.
You know what? Calling yourself the guilty pleasure kind of. Your research is better than that. I mean, it's beyond some sort of dark guilty pleasure. I mean, you know your stuff, and you present it with a bit of humor at times, most of the time, almost all the time, but you're usually on point. So to call it a guilty pleasure, I would say, is doing yourself a little bit of a disservice.
Well, thank you. And I kind of feel like, you know, it's more than just a guilty pleasure, but I've heard that before. So I guess people don't like mixing comedy in with the paranormal, and it's still a problem 12, 13, 14 years later. People just don't get it, that what we're doing is actually having fun. You know, at the same time, you know, there's some real research being done. But anyway, not about me. Let's get back to Nap. So Nap, question, go, Dave.
Well, I'm sitting here thinking, let me ask you this, is it even relevant to talk to him about Skinwalker Ranch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Always.
Why?
Because that's extremely relevant. And I still, as much as I've heard about Skinwalker Ranch, I still want to hear more. And I don't know why.
So it's kind of like your version of Waverly Hills.
It is. Yeah. Very well. Yeah, exactly. I like listening to that and different views, different perspectives, and his would be phenomenal.
Yeah, I have to ask that.
Well, I can guarantee you we're going to get into a lot of UFOs. Stop it, Angus. Stop it. Angus just wants to be a part of the round table. That's quite okay. Quite okay.
He does. He woke up, he didn't know where I was, and then he found me, so he's excited. Sorry.
Well, yeah, that's okay. It's Angus. He's allowed. He's 15 years old. If he wants to come on this show, Angus can come on this show.
All right. He heard it. He's okay.
I don't mind. Whatsoever.
He's got his headset on.
Perfect. You know what? It wouldn't surprise me, knowing the type of dog owner you are, that if that you don't have a headset for him.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I definitely have a headset for him. but I don't put clothes on him, just a headset and a microphone he'd walk in front of, which is actually a little bone.
Good enough.
That's a lot how you do the show, isn't it?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Derek is asking on Twitter, 2.5 hours. Why not all 3 with George Knapp?
Yeah,
Well,
that's kind of, I was going to say.
I'll tell you what, I'll make this commitment to everybody here. If George will do the 3, I'll do the 3. He's already said he's going to do the 2.5. But if he'll go the 3, I will do the full 3 hours with him. I'll skip the news and the thought of the Dave that night. I think that's fair.
Whether it's 2.5 or 3, it's not going to be enough time.
No, we would probably need an entire week of shows, of George Knapp shows, in order to kind of bring it on up. We really would.
Hasn't he been to the White House? I thought he has. But, Dave, isn't it weird? I meant to ask you. I remembered now. 38 years at one place? That's unheard of.
It is. Especially in the media. Like, I know a lot of reporters. I was only in for just under 10 years. Okay? And after I got out, every person who had been at that station where I worked in Vancouver, except I think for 2, every original member of that station within 2 years of me leaving was given buyouts. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's
like
crazy.
You said, it's all about money. Dave, and he's an investigative journalist, right? So
Yes.
That's a lot different. Now, anybody who sits behind one of those desks on TV, the news anchor, the weatherman, are they all investigative journalists or no?
No, they are not. They're it's kind of weird because it's broken up. You have your anchors, so you have your pretty faces, your prettiest people standing in or sitting in front of the teleprompter. Then you have your reporters, but when you want to get in depth in stories, that's where you go to your investigative journalist, which is what Knapp is.
Do they generally get paid more than the TV anchor?
Yeah. No, not usually.
It depends.
Not
maybe.
usually. But a guy of Knapp's stature, I'm not even going to sit there and think, try and predict what he's making annually from the station. But I will say, he is the exception and not the norm now around media outlets. And that's sad to say, because the true investigative journalist is a dying breed. Thanks to the internet, bloggers, vloggers, self-titlers, things like that. And, of course, the economics of media. And that's the sad part.
Is it fair to label Google an investigative journalist?
No.
That's true. They're just researchers.
We're going to go to break on this one, guys, and we're going to go to the SOR Space Travelers Club with Nicholas here. And he is saying, Mr. Scott, could you please press Mr. Knapp about his preferred pizza preference? I will just die if he says Hawaiian, because pineapple should not be on pizza. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh.
We'll be back.
I like a good Hawaiian pizza.
You probably do, Everett Themer. Everett Themer, Rich Giordano from GUFON Radio, here with us on the Friday night SOR Paranormal Round Table. New topic coming up at the bottom of the hour. We'll be back with more right after this.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
Hi, George and Ori here. Are you ready for UFO MegaCon, the immersion event? 7 days, 8 nights, 50 new speakers, UFO military witnesses, experiencer groups, skywatches, and so much more. Join me at UFO MegaCon, March 24th through the 30th in Laughlin, Nevada. Truly the one and only new information conference of the year. Now check it out at UFOMegaCon.com. That's UFOMegaCon.com.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything is an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose, Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
We've passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Great to have you along for the ride as we head on into the weekend and the Everett Themer Death Watch continues. But first, we do have to remind everybody that a great way to support this show is by doing a little shopping. Yes, you go to our website, spacedoutradio.com. You click on the shop tab. We got t-shirts, hoodies, hats, sweaters, coffee mugs, socks, you name it, we got it. So go pick up your new swag from Spaced Out Radio tonight. Be like Uncle Dale. We got to get a Spaced Out Radio top hat. That's what we need. Everett Themer, the Death Watch continues. We got Rich Giordano from GUFON Radio. It's the SOR Paranormal Round Table. It happens the final Friday of every month. Gentlemen, welcome back to the show.
Great to
Love
be back.
to be here.
So, Ev, you feel like you're dying yet or what? I mean, you only got 23 and a half hours to find this out.
Right now, I feel fantastic, but I had some Monster Energy drinks while we were on break, so.
Right. So for those people who are just tuning in and listening, Everett Themer, one of our guests tonight, was told by his granddaughter earlier today that you are going to die soon, like within the next 24, like tomorrow. You're going to die. And it switched over to tomorrow now at the top of the hour here for Everett, who's in Illinois. So what we're trying to do is get a hold of somebody in Australia to see if Everett is still alive over there, because they're like 15 hours ahead. We need to figure this stuff out.
You know, if there were to be an obituary or something like that there, what does that say about reality? And we were discussing it earlier off the air about the whole idea of simulated reality and things like that. What does that prove or say or mean? Because I'd kind of like to hear it.
I'd like to see what it means too. I really would like to see what it means, because it would be kind of creepy, man, if all of a sudden they're reporting in Australia that they're reading your obituary. That would be horrible.
You know, I did write a few articles for some Australian outlets, but I don't think they'd even be aware that I was alive or dead.
Well, we're going to move on here, because a week ago tonight we had Teddy Hieski on the show talking about the Dyatlov Pass incident. And earlier this year, Russian investigators actually opened up the investigation once again. Now, this happened back in January of 1959, where 9 skiers, 7 men and 2 women, seemingly, mysteriously, all died on their trek through the Urals in Dyatlov Pass, which stands for Devil's Pass. Strange case, very strange deaths. Nobody knows what happens to or what's happened to these people. Rich, I know this story has always intrigued you. Yep. What do you think about the Russian investigators reopening this case?
I think it's interesting after all this time, because I thought they had already determined that they couldn't figure out what happened there. So I wonder if there's new evidence that appeared, or maybe something else happened to other people that were hiking across that area. I don't know. It's a strange area. There's been a lot of sightings, and of course the people seeing creatures out there, that possible kind of Bigfoot Yeti type of thing. Who knows? But I do think it's interesting that they're reopening the case, and I really haven't looked into the new case or got any updated information, so I don't know if you wanted me to answer it that way, but I can only say that it is interesting because, people were in their tents, they were hiking, they ripped open their tents to get out the opposite direction of maybe something was coming into the tent. They had their tongues ripped out. People were, some of them were found in the snow face first, naked. It's just bizarre. It was almost like an alien abduction gone crazy, where they tried doing like cattle mutilation experiments on humans, and they look like they could have been attacked. But the whole scene is very interesting, and I'd like to see what they come up with, and get maybe a new vision on what happened over there, because it's a very strange pass, that whatever it's called, Detlef Pass.
But Rich, how do you find new evidence after 70 years? And that was in the snow. That snow has melted, refallen, melted again, refallen over the years. I don't know where you even look for evidence in something like that.
Well, I'm not an investigative journalist, but what I would do...
Oh, you're not? Okay.
Do I need to say it? Yeah. They would have to probably interview people that live in the area, see if anybody's still around from when that happened, talk to them, just go about doing what they normally do as if it was the first night it happened or the first night they found out about it and got there. So I think they would have to reopen everything, take the evidence that they have, re-examine it. Maybe there's some sort of new, DNA finder. I don't know. Whatever you call it, I can't think. A new type of science that can figure out different hair fibers. Maybe they could find. Who knows? I just have a feeling it was covered up to begin with. Way back when it happened. I just think that they're covering up something. I think they know, which makes this all interesting. Yeah.
I bet you it had something to do with street lamps, but that's just me. Everett, what's your thoughts on the investigation?
It's a security light.
Well, first, that show was fantastic. The way she told that story and the information that she had brought it right back to life. And you'll have to refresh my memory on this a little bit. The investigation has been reopened, but didn't she say that it's more of a formality so that they can essentially keep it active or keep it available to be investigated? If I remember right, it's not like there's really been anything new, but there was some sort of time frame that it had to be reinvestigated in to keep it basically alive. Is that what I took from that?
I recall her saying something along those lines, but I do remember her saying the fact that they were investigating and looking for new details and new options to do it, because this is a case that is very popular among the Russian people, and they still want to know what happens. And let's face it, for as closed as we all expect on this side of the world Russia to be, they're a very proud country, much like all of our countries are, and they are a little bit more open, though, I believe, to some of these types of stories. So why not? If they're looking into it, yes, it could be the ultimate cover-up, but maybe, just maybe, they are looking into it because there is no Russian or human secret to be keeping.
That could be. And let's be honest. I mean, it makes sense to relook at a case like that, especially when it hasn't been looked at in depth in quite a while, just because of the new technologies we have. They could have the evidence sitting in storage or sitting somewhere already that when it was last looked at, we didn't have some of the options and technologies that we have today. They could have the answer already and not know it.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Well, I mean, we're going to see. We're going to see where it goes. And the chances that something is going to come up are very slim to none, much like Teddy Hieske said last week on this show. It's very unlikely we're going to find any answers or that this new younger group of investigators will. But this is probably, in the next couple of years, one of the last chances that they will get to talk to anybody who was alive back then who could actually remember the event. I mean, let's face it, that event was 70 years ago. All right, so you're looking at people who would be, 77 to 100 years old?
Wasn't there a tribe of people that lived nearby that they thought were the attackers because they crossed into their territory when they were hiking? That was one of the theories, that they crossed over into their land and they weren't supposed to. Do you remember that? Because
I do recall them saying, or Teddy talking about that. The problem was there was no other footprints. They had the footprints of the hikers, but the weirdest thing is they had a tree that was like 55, 60 feet tall, and there were branches broken, like a body had dropped from the sky and broken all the branches on the way down.
Wow. I believe that it was... just like I always thought, it was kind of like a cattle mutilation with these people. It was an abduction gone awry. I'm telling you, that's what it was.
But she wasn't really hot on the alien theory, was she?
No, she wasn't.
Of course not.
She didn't rule it out. Right. She didn't rule it out, but she wasn't high on it.
Of course. Because that would go against everything we know as humans. Like, oh my gosh, imagine thinking it was aliens.
I hear you there.
I don't know. I think she was pretty open to a whole bunch of ideas and theories with that case. I don't know that I would necessarily give her that label of not wanting to accept it.
Oh, okay, good.
All right, let's move on here, guys. Let's move on to another topic here. And we're going to get into a fact that I had a couple of guests on, Darcy Weir and Lee Lustig, who were talking about they're making a documentary-type film in regards to ET abductees and the stories that they have gone. They're trying to make it as realistic as possible without the remakes, My eyes, it's so bright. You know what I'm talking about? Here they are making these. So let me ask you this. If you could make one movie out of all the paranormal, one story, one movie, and do a documentary series on this, Everett, where or what would you do?
I would do Roswell because I know it would sell.
But you wouldn't touch San Augustine or the theory that there was 2 crashes that day, correct? Because nobody else does.
Nobody pays attention to that one. Nobody wants to hear about that one. People have tried to talk about that one. People have tried to talk about the theory. And somehow it's been ignored repeatedly. So I think the public has proven that they don't want to hear the information. They don't want to learn about that one. So let's give them Roswell again for the umpteenth time.
You are boring. You are completely boring.
I was shocked at that. Easy road.
Yeah. That's just, I don't know. I'm not liking that. How about you, Rich? What part are you doing?
I would do, because of all the documentation that was within drawings and the abduction, the Allagash abductions. I've always loved that, where the guys went camping and they set up the big fire on the coastline there, went out fishing, saw the bright light. The twin brothers and other people were abducted by this light, and when they woke up, you guys know the story, So when they woke up and they were found seeing this bright light go away from them, they realized they were gone for about 3-4 hours because the campfire had died all the way down, and that was set for a good 3-4 hours, according to them. So they went missing. Time went missing. They saw the UFO. Then years later, realized they were having these dreams, and the twin brothers are really the main focus point on this story, because it was amazing how much their stories were alike, yet they weren't living with each other, but they were having these experiences and remembered through regression therapy that they have been abducted, and they could finish each other's sentence where they left off. It's an amazing case. So I would do it around that, only because there's a lot of people involved, and nobody's found to be lying. I just think it's a real interesting case.
That's a great one. I'll tell you the one I would do is I would be doing the story of Stefan Mikulik, pardon me.
I thought you were going to say Romanek.
I almost did. No, I would do Stefan Roman. Oh, thanks, Rich. Stefan Mikulik. All right. And for those of you who don't know the story, is back in 1967, Mikulik was doing a little gold panning, looking for rocks, doing some gold panning along, Falcon Lake, and he came across a craft, and he thought it was a military experiment. He saw a door open, so he walked up to the door, and he saw something move inside, and as he peeked in, touched the craft, and then as he kind of started to back away, the door closed, and basically his skin and his clothing were burned from this craft taking off. And there were 2 craft there. And he eventually wandered his way out. It is one of the, highest or probably best not abduction stories, but UFO sightings out there that's been reported. But, south of the border, it's not that big of a story, I don't think. There's a lot of people in ufology who've never heard of the man. And I would love to see a camera crew, because he is still alive. He talks about it publicly. And I know Chris Rutkowski has written a book about it. I would love to see him in a good, solid, well-funded documentary. His story. Let's see if we can take him back to Falcon Lake, get it filmed, maybe find the exact spot. I mean, we all know that nature changes things, and it's been 50 years. But that's, to me, as real as it gets. The proof is there. The photos are there. The RCMP still have the clothing that he wore that day.
Is that the one where he walked up to it and the craft spun, but it expelled this gas that burnt him? And it made this like a polka dot kind of thing on his clothes, right? Yeah. That is a good one. Yeah.
I would love to see that one. Or there is in May, I have a young man coming on named Tyler Hooper. And he recently was part of a Canadian Broadcasting Company documentary that they did on a Vancouver Island man named Granger Taylor. Now, Granger Taylor was always known to be aloof. He was a pothead. He was a high school dropout. But he had this uncanny brilliancy to build and fix anything. And for years, he had been telling family and friends that the aliens were coming to get him. And then one day, he disappeared. Now, there are people who are saying that he went up to the mountain to commit suicide and they found his burnt-out car. There are people who believe that he actually did get taken by aliens on the day he claimed. He actually built his own UFO, trying to fly it. It's just an amazing story. I would love to see that story get into the United States as well, because I think it's very important.
You know,
Those
I've heard
personal
enough
type
about
stories.
that story. I've heard enough about that story to want to hear it. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, me too. It does ring a lot of bells.
Do you think Shag Harbor? You think Shag Harbor, if we're going to go north of the border, will Shag Harbor ever get its due quality documentary?
Don't they already?
I thought that was kind of one of the overlooked cases. I mean, there have been a couple of shows on it that I've seen, but nothing.
Well, the fact that there is so much evidence in regards to Shag Harbor, because not only do you have hundreds of eyewitnesses, you have RCMP witnesses, you have military witnesses on both the Canadian Navy side and the United States Navy side. You have both the United States Navy and the Canadian Navy diving into Shag Harbor. There's the alleged story of whether or not that divers actually saw some sort of alien-type species working on the craft underwater. I mean, it's a peak woo type story. And the fact that it involves the United States military as well as the Canadian military, how that story isn't up there with the Roswells of the world, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, if that had happened in Maine, I'm sure it would be, but because it was, 50 miles away or 20 miles away in Canada, in Nova Scotia, it doesn't get the airplay as much as it probably should? I don't know.
No, it's because the militaries were involved, so they're keeping it hush-hush. They don't want to give us any more information. Yeah, you're right. I wish it would get more. But that's why we don't get more out of there, because it's so unbelievable, I think.
Absolutely.
Right? Wasn't there the foam was also rising to the surface when they were every time they would move? And yeah, I mean, that's one of the best cases out there in history.
Very interesting. Very interesting that it hasn't taken off. And I agree with you on that one, Everett. I really do. Do we still have Ev?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm right here.
You just didn't talk. You were like silent. You were absolutely silent. Well, now you get to be silent for a little bit longer, because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. 2 hours down, 1 hour to go on Spaced Out Radio's Friday night SOR Paranormal Round Table. We do it the final Friday of every month. We got a good crew tonight. Everett Themer, who's on the Death Watch, and of course Rich Giordano from GUFON Radio. Make sure you go over and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Do old Davey a favor and do that. Rich deserves it. He works hard. We'll be back with Hour 3 of Spaced Out Radio right after this. At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Hi, George Norrie here. Are you ready for UFO MegaCon, the immersion event? 7 days, 8 nights, 50 new speakers, UFO military witnesses, experiencer groups, skywatches, and so much more. Join me at UFO MegaCon, March 24th through the 30th in Laughlin, Nevada. Truly the one and only new information conference of the year. Now check it out at UFOMegaCon.com. That's UFOMegaCon.com.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
On the first Tuesday of every month, I encourage you to come along for a journey with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You. Together, we will take a look at how to access the highest expression of yourself and change your life. Consciousness, ET contact, health, and wellness, we can talk about it all. So come along for a spiritual ride with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You, only on Spaced Out Radio.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR, where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com, where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com, and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Welcome back to the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Great to have each and every one of you with us to start off the weekend. Tomorrow night on the show and Sunday, our great host on the weekend, Tessa Nicole Thomas, is back with Spaced Out Weekend, 9 o'clock Pacific, midnight Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, listening in on KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, and in Reedsport, Oregon, KDUN AM 1030. On the digital side, we have Revolution Radio and Deep Talk Radio tuning on in. Thank you so much for listening there. And remember, all of our archives are free. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Xenodocuology. Oh, I butchered that one. Xenodocuology is your password. Make sure you use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night, right here on the mighty SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot. Go shopping at our Spaced Out Radio store, because it's a great way to support what we do. And, of course, you can always join us on the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk has you all up to date on the latest weird, wacky news. It's not the final time tonight, second to last time tonight, because we go the round table, the full 3 hours of the show. We have Everett Themer, and from GUFON Radio, Rich Giordano, joining us as we continue on with the SOR Paranormal Round Table. Gentlemen, welcome back.
Glad to be back.
Thanks.
There was a lot of news made this week in MUFON land that Chase Klutsky had stepped down as Director of Investigations. This comes on the heels where she was on a MUFON cruise with Jan Harzen, the Executive Director of MUFON. And for all intents and purposes, it was a good time. And so she steps down. Now, in the midst of everything, to tell an equal story, we have invited Chase back onto the show. We're going to try and line that up. But there's been a lot of rumors and conjecture flying around from a lot of people, because there are a lot of people who are angry with the way MUFON is doing things. But Chase, privately said to me, actually publicly on Twitter, said to me that she was not leaving MUFON, unlike the rumors, and that she was pretty much just stepping down to go into different roles. The question is, what are those roles? So when it comes to MUFON, and I don't want this to be a MUFON bashing thing, because that's an easy thing to do. But with somebody like Klutsky stepping on down, is this something that they can maybe move forward with in a positive direction, Rich?
you say not to be negative, but then you say, can we use this as a positive direction, which means it was negative in my eyes. That's how I feel. I don't know any other. I can't really think of anything positive to say about MUFON, except that at one time they were the place you'd want to, send your UFO reports, and maybe the only place you could send your UFO reports to, which a lot of people didn't even know they existed probably for 50 years until the internet came around. Look, I'm happy that she stepped down, and I don't care what she says. It has to do, I think, with the Philip Leach emails and exposing MUFON for a lot of things that they shouldn't have been doing. And you don't want to make this a bashing, segment about MUFON, which I'm not trying to do. I'm just telling you what I read and what I see. And it seems like she's stepping down because pressure was put on from maybe the whole group. They had a meeting, and they decided she should step down because of things that have been said and really haven't been denied. Or were they denied? I don't really know. I didn't. Right, not yet. I hope she comes on your show. I don't know if it's smart of her to do that, but with giving evidence, supposed evidence over to Elizondo that was mentioned, and HIPAA laws possibly being broken, going into backgrounds, doing background checks on people, it's just one thing after the other. And I think if she does step down, it's a step in the right direction. Who's going to take the reins? Jan Harzan?
No, there is. I believe his name's Ken McNeil.
All right.
And I may have got that wrong. I'm going to check on that right now because one of my sources told me who was taking on over. But I will check into that.
But it's a political move for MUFON. That's all it is. Yeah, even if she did nothing wrong, the injuries were already given through those emails without any rebuttal. So why was there no rebuttal? Because what is she going to say? Yeah, I did. It would go in a million different directions, and that's why she was told probably to say nothing, because it's just going to make it worse. So
Ken McNeil is the man replacing her. He's been on the MUFON board for a long, long time. Everett, go ahead.
I'm going to defend MUFON a little bit here. I think that there are a lot of people there with good intentions, but I think that they're more the lower level, the people who are becoming involved as volunteers. Whether this can be turned into a positive sort of depends on what her real motivations for leaving were. I still think that there needs to be a big shakeup in the leadership. Maybe this is a start, but I don't know that we can really know that or what's going to really happen internally with them and how they're going to move forward until we know a little bit more about her motivations. Because to step down from that position but stay with the company or with the organization, sure, that sounds like there's a problem, but that happens a lot in a lot of different companies. It's not unusual to do something like that.
Especially now, after getting exposed.
Well, yeah, and that could be part of it. But if the intention is, one of the things that she had said was that she wants to lobby for the UFO community or the UFO agenda. Well, it seems to me that she could have been on the more transparent by doing it as the director of investigations for MUFON, but maybe it was a time thing. Maybe she just couldn't balance being the DOI and doing this lobbying. But once you start talking about lobbying, that's a whole nother can of worms. I mean, if she's going to lobby for somebody, she has to register who she's lobbying for. But she's already part of MUFON.
So are they going to keep her salary then? Is that what's going to happen?
It's a good question.
Because
that's something that we can definitely ask the people I know in regards to MUFON. I mean, I think the big thing with Chase, too, is maybe with this influx of television shows that is happening, maybe she is representing MUFON on a new television show and just won't have time to pay attention to the director of investigations, because when you're in that position, there's a lot of work going on when you're the top dog across the country.
But that goes back to the leadership, because if you're MUFON, with everything that's going on with Chase, do you really want her representing the organization on TV? Whether you love her or hate her, she is not really the best choice to be representing your organization right now.
Look at the timing of it. Right before Elizondo's show's coming out, they're distancing themselves from her, is what it sounds like. Not all the way out, but enough that we won't have to worry about her name being, head of MUFON anymore.
And you never know. Go ahead.
It's all political.
There's a little bit of a pattern there. I mean, there's somebody else that was high up in the organization that stepped away, but didn't step away. And now you have her being a little bit more public, stepping away from an upper position, but still staying with the company. Does that shed any light on their motives or what their general procedures are?
Well, you know what? We're going to see. We're going to see how it plays out. We're going to see if there was any resolve to that. Chase has said that, and as well as my other source inside MUFON, that they really, really have to take a serious look at what they are doing with their future as well. And I think maybe in this case, and I'm not blaming Chase for this, but I think she has other endeavors that she wants to do, and good on her for doing that. She also did admit that there is absolutely, no way that implant had made its way to Lou Elizondo and to History Channel, like Philip Leach said. I mean, there is three sides to every story. There's Phil's side, there's the MUFON side, and then there's the truth down the middle. We will soon see if that implant all of a sudden makes it to camera when History Channel starts to air those episodes.
It will.
I don't think it will.
It will.
I don't think that would shoot her credibility way down.
More reason to drop her.
Maybe,
well, we'll soon see.
I know, it's all speculation at this point. But what makes sense? It's the timing of it. You're going to say that it's a coincidence that stepped down to a different role right after those emails came out with no rebuttal. To say nothing speaks volumes, in my opinion. I just think you say nothing because you did something. And I just think it's bad. I think the whole thing stinks.
Well,
do you guys see a time where...
Go ahead, Ev.
Do you guys see a time where MUFON's irrelevant, where it's just gone? With social media, does somebody need to start from the ground up and form a new organization with new procedures and ideas and things like that? Or is this kind of the end of the era of reporting agencies, I guess would be the best way to call them?
Well, social media does have that fact, but you still need that library of evidence. I think MUFON is still extremely relevant. I really do. I would like to see them change their ways a little bit. I would like to see them act a little bit more professionally in the media. And I've talked to Tom Whitmore and a couple other MUFON members about that. And, at points we agreed to disagree. At other points we agreed to agree. And the point that I'm getting at with that is I think MUFON is still very relevant. It should be relevant. They've got the history and the tenure, but the problem is nobody seems to know the direction they are wanting to go. And when you have leadership that doesn't want to, talk about a lot of the tough questions at times, then it gets a little questionable. But hopefully with time, they will come on out and they will do what they need to do in order to clean up their act.
I don't know the answer. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Rich. No, please.
No.
Finish up.
Thanks. I was just going to say, I don't know the answer to this, but what was Chase doing to get that role? What was her role before that she was so good to be running MUFON?
Well, she has a lot of contacts, and both in government, in the military through her husband, and she's also been a part of MUFON for 20 years, so she has moved up the entire process. You know, she started at the bottom as an investigator and then just kind of moved up from there. So, I mean, you know, a lot of people will say she did it the wrong way. Some people will say she did it perfectly. You know?
Well, she was trained by MUFON, which was probably not 100% correct. It was just their way that they saw fit. You know, I don't know. You know, I don't want to say anything bad anymore, so forget it.
Let's move on here, everyone. Let's move on. Now, Everett, we got some good news here.
He's still alive.
Yeah. Now,
that's a plus.
Aussie Rob, who lives in Australia, says you're still alive.
Oh,
excellent.
And the wonderful poet, Corinne de Winter, who comes on Psychic Sundays with Tessa, very intuitive lady, very brilliant. She says you're going to be alive tomorrow and for another 30 years.
Oh, please, not 30.
Oh, apparently you got another 3 decades coming, buddy. Another 3 decades of 100 cups of coffee a day.
Well, Corinne is good, so I trust her word over a 6-year-old.
But the ultimate test is going to come from this, because on Twitter, Goddess Michelle has requested that Rich Giordano bring out his magic 8 ball to answer this ultimate question on whether or not you are dying in the next 21 hours. Now, for the people who are just tuning us in saying, what is this all about? Earlier today, Everett's granddaughter came up to him and said, you're going to die tomorrow. Die, 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 die. And it's kind of got Everett a little freaked out.
There's death all around you.
There's death all around you. Now, Everett, I do have to preface this, you know, for our audience. I know how scared you are about this, because even though you're trying to play it off as an adult, there is that what-if factor, because it's so out of the blue. My son did almost the exact same thing to me in the fall, where all of a sudden he put his spoon down in his nighttime snack of cereal before he went to bed and started crying and said, Daddy, you're going to die soon. I don't want you to die. And started having a crying fit because he thought I was going to die. So I know where you're going with this. I survived, buddy. I survived. But what does Rich have to say with the magic 8 ball?
Well, on my show, we periodically ask the magic 8 ball 3 questions, and we could just do one. But I will not ask a question of someone's life or death situation unless they tell me it's okay to do. So we were discussing it during one of the breaks and come to the conclusion, well, I said, well, I don't want to do it, but I did want to leave it up to the big guy, not, you know. Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I can't. I already know the answer. No, I'm kidding. I don't. All right. So what we do is we try to gather the strength from everybody who's listening and put forth the question in your mind. And we will ask the magic 8 ball, Will Everett, right? That's your real name?
Yes.
Okay. And your last name?
Deemer.
Deemer. Will Everett Deemer survive the next 24 hours? And the magic 8 ball says, as I see it, yes. So you're going to be okay.
Hey,
thank God.
All right.
Fantastic.
All right.
And let me tell
All
you,
right.
it went right to it. Usually it thinks a little bit, but we had good connection with everybody on that one. So you're going to live.
Hey, all right. Big Everett Themer, gonna survive.
I think I like that response.
That is nice. Man, it went right to it. Not even a hesitation at all. Very good.
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a little saddened because I did see my name on a couple of those guitars.
Well, maybe it won't be tomorrow. Let me ask it. Will it be in 2 days? I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that to you. 2 days? No, I won't ask. Want me to ask?
Well, go ahead.
Let's ask, will Everett Themer survive the next 48 hours? Will he remain alive as a human?
Oh,
here it comes.
Deep question.
My reply is no. So let's ask it one more.
Dun, dun.
We're gonna confirm, because if I get it twice, now I've had a question answered 4 different ways that either it'd be no, ask again, it's irrelevant. So if it doesn't want to give the answer, it won't. But we're only going to give it this last chance because you're only allowed 3 questions in a 24-hour period. So will Everett Themer remain alive, soul, body, and mind for the next 48 hours? Reconfirm. Here we go.
Here we go. I feel like
I got to try again. Reply is hazy. Try again. See what I mean? It already gave me the answer, so I think it's getting upset. So I'm going to ask it one more time. Will Everett Themer not die within the next 48 hours? You may rely on it. Dude, that's not good. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
This goes back to the beginning of the show when we were talking about being able to manifest and use intent.
It didn't want to give the answer. It's like, I already told you, and I'm going to be hazy because you already know. And then I asked it again, and it said, immediately, rely on it. He's dead. I'm sorry. You're not going to. It's just fun. It's just entertainment. Don't worry about it. Have a good
Ev, would you mind sending over some pictures of the guitars just in case?
Oh, yeah. I'll get right on that in my last few hours.
They come with cases?
Yes.
Okay, good.
What kind of picks do you use, Ev?
I actually I have a bunch of old copper picks that I use, but typically just Dunlops or Fender, whatever.
Okay, throw it. Make sure there's a couple of those in one of the cases for us, okay?
Can you sign it? Sign everything too.
No, that would mess with the value.
All right.
All right, fine.
It's your life.
Fine. Oh, my goodness. Yes, for those who just walked in, Everett Themer will survive the death threat from his granddaughter for at least 24 hours.
And with his passing, that does increase listenership, and we get the guitars. So it's not all bad.
No.
I can always count on you, Rich.
Right, because there's some sort of credibility with the 8-ball then. I mean, this thing could sell, baby.
Well, I would agree with that. I would totally agree with that.
Initially, that's why the only person I told was Joe Elgire, because if this did happen, just like Dave, I told you, if something ever happened to me, get Bill Hauser on with the Ghost Box, because I'm coming back. Don't wait that, be respectful and wait 3 months, 6 months, whatever. If you can, get on that night.
I will.
Or the next night.
Oh, I will.
Oh, we definitely will. And on that note, gentlemen, I'm going to get you guys to hold on here because we are going to take a break at the bottom of the hour, a final break of the night on the SOR Paranormal Round Table with Everett Themer as the Death Watch continues, and Rich Giordano from GUFON Radio. During the break, while you're listening in, go over to YouTube, give a big subscribe to Rich Giordano's channel, GUFON Radio. We'll be back with more Spaced Out Radio after this.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
Hi, George Norrie here. Are you ready for UFO MegaCon, the immersion event? 7 days, 8 nights, 50 new speakers, UFO military witnesses, experiencer groups, skywatches, and so much more. Join me at UFO MegaCon, March 24th through the 30th in Laughlin, Nevada. Truly the one and only new information conference of the year. Now check it out at UFOMegaCon.com. That's UFOMegaCon.com.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on the mighty SOR. It's the final Friday of the month, which means it's the SOR Paranormal Round Table. Tonight we're going the distance with Everett Themer and from GUFON Radio, Rich Giordano. And remember, everyone, a good way to support what we do on a nightly basis is to head over to our website, spacedoutradio.com, click on the show banner, be like Uncle Dale, get a top hat, even though we don't sell them yet. Grab yourself a Spaced Out Radio t-shirt and rock it away. Absolutely rock it away. Yes, it's a great way to support this show by picking up some Spaced Out Radio swag for yourself or people that you know. Gentlemen, welcome back to the Paranormal Round Table. Always a pleasure to have you here.
Always fun to be here.
Yep.
Now, the good news is we know Everett Themer is not dying, which is always good. Everett, thank you so much.
I'm glad I could help. I'm happy about it, too.
Those are in forms of questions. However, there is a little bit of controversy going in on this because Rich's Magic 8-Ball said that he wouldn't die in the next 24 hours, but it's a little sketchy on the next 48 after that. I don't know. I really don't know. But we're going to continue with the SOR Paranormal Roundtable because we got to end it well because this could be Everett's last one as the Death Watch continues.
No, they said I'm still alive in Australia. I survived tomorrow.
Yes, you survived tomorrow, but it's the next day that the Magic 8-Ball is worried about.
Right. It's covering all time zones just to be safe. So instead of 24 hours, it went 48 just to make sure.
Well, it's one of those things.
You guys just want the guitars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, and publicly you have stated that we can have them. Everett has a nice guitar collection.
17 of them.
Maybe 18.
You never know what's in the closet here and there.
Rich has claimed the Fenders. I've claimed the Les Pauls. And one of our listeners, Joe, gets the rest.
Joe has to get one of the Les Pauls. God, we're talking about this like I'm dead.
Hey.
Yeah.
It's okay. You don't need to worry about it, Ev. We'll take care of it.
Fantastic.
Well, that's actually kind of a good topic. I just thought about this off the top of my head as we continue on with the SOR Paranormal Round Table. If there is another side to all of this, and God, I hope so. I'm pretty confident there is, from what we've learned through this show. But let's just say you saw somebody, as you're viewing in from the other side, saw somebody rifling through your stuff and just grabbing a bunch of it. And there was nothing you can do about it. How would you react to that? Would you try and go all poltergeist on them, Everett?
Well, I guess we might find out here in the next 48 hours. I don't know, because there's nothing. There's nothing that anybody could really take that anybody would really want. I mean, my wife has access to, and is the only one that has access to, some of the important stuff, the valuable stuff. If somebody were to walk through my house and want this or want that, I would imagine that they could take it if they could get past my wife, but good luck with that.
Well, as long as I'm all about the guitars. As long as she opens up to the room of the guitars, I'm okay. But Rich, what would you do if all of a sudden, here you are, you're dead, and you're in a ghostly figure, and all of a sudden, somebody in your family or somebody, starts rifling through your stuff and starts taking all the stuff. And you're like, no, that's for mom, or that's for dad, or that's for my sisters or my nieces or nephews. What would you be doing, man?
I'd be doing what Patrick Swayze did in Ghost. I'd be swinging, kicking, yelling, lifting pennies up. I don't know, man. I don't think it matters once you get to the other side. You don't care about this world that much anymore. I feel once you pass over, it's another beginning for you. So with that being said, if I was to play devil's advocate, that's weird. Play devil's advocate as a ghost. I don't know, man. I mean, I would try. I guess you would know what you're capable of doing when you get to the other side. If you could interact somehow, maybe keep pushing the guitar over. Every time somebody goes to look at, the Les Paul, bam, push it down on the ground. No, every time I lift it up, it goes back down. I don't know, man. I would be upset, but what are you going to do? You're dead. You just found out the meaning of life. What do you care if they're taking your guitar for? You just found out.
You know what? On a personal note, when my grandfather died in 1995, I was his little buddy from the time I was born until he passed. Him and I were always very, very close. And growing up, Grandpa always had a shop where he used to fix lawnmowers. And there were certain things in that shop, like the little hammers that he had for me that I could bang, nails into wood with, and all of this stuff. And, one of those moments that you just don't forget as a kid because they're just so important that time. Anyways, when my grandfather died, I was at work, and the funeral arrangements are being prepped by my mom and my dad, and getting everything ready, and then my dad and I made our way over to my grandma's house, and my grandfather's stuff had been absolutely ransacked by a couple of my cousins and my dad's two brothers. And my dad, to this day, still has a little bit of a grudge about that. So anyways, go over to my uncle's house one day, and my uncle was like a real small man syndrome kind of guy. But problem was he was only about $1.15 wet. And there's two things that my grandfather had of mine. He had these corn pipe collections, and when I was a kid, you don't see kids doing it today, but back when I was a kid in the 70s and 80s, every time I went over to my grandpa and grandma's house, I'd run for my grandfather's pipes, and I'd put one in my pipe because everybody smoked, and my grandfather liked to pipe, and I wanted to be like my grandfather, so I'd pop this pipe in my mouth, right? And anyways, I go and I look on my uncle's shelf, and there's the pipes. along with my hammer from the shop. I said, oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
I said, where did you get these? And he's like, they were my father's. I said, you know these were mine, right? This is what I played with and used at my grandfather's. He goes, yep. Well, they're mine now. I said, well, good. I guess you don't mind me taking the only mementos that I looked for from my grandfather. He goes, touch them and die.
Oh.
Right? And I picked them up off the shelf. I put them in my pocket. And I said, if you even try, I said, you may be 20-some years older than me. I said, but I will knock you out. Because I was in pretty good shape back then. I was, doing my fighting thing back in hockey. Needless to say, I got the pipes. But there was something else that my uncle held on to until, God rest his soul, he passed away. And that was my grandfather's pocket watch collection. He had told me that my grandfather had pawned them all off. And lo and behold, when he died, my aunt, because my aunt and uncle didn't have any children, my aunt presented me with the case and 5 pocket watches in there. So, just kind of weird how that works sometimes, how greedy people can get when that happens. There's a little bit of stew for you, learning about me.
But why would you want to take the pipe and the other thing from him when he was the one who was playing with it before you?
No, he didn't play with it. He didn't even know they existed. When they raided my grandfather's shop, okay, like they took all of his tools. They even took his shoes. All right?
Right.
They took his they took his shoes. Because my grandmother, being distraught that she just lost her husband of 50-some years, all right, was not in the right headspace to do anything. And my dad is the oldest, and the 2 other sons were like, no, this ain't cool. This isn't cool at all. We're just going to go through all the stuff, and Mom, don't worry, we'll take care of it. Well, they literally raided everything. So when my grandmother actually said to me, Rich, did you grab your hammer and the pipes?
Okay.
Because I want you to have that. And I looked, and they were gone.
Oh, right.
And then I found them on my uncle's shelf.
Oh, but I thought he said if you touch them, you die.
Yeah, pretty much.
But he just wanted them to keep them.
Exactly. They thought he was his. And I looked him in the eye and I said, you know what? I got nothing for my grandfather after you guys raided his place. I said, I'll take these. I'll go into a little bit more detail. I said, I will take these back. And that's where he said, touch them and die. And I laughed at him and I said, I will knock you out. I used a little bit different words. But it would have been, I'm glad I didn't. I'm totally glad I didn't. But he knew what he was getting into.
How long from your grandfather's death until you found that he had those?
4 years.
Jeez.
Wow.
3-4 years. Maybe 5 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah. That's why, when my time comes, I've already got my stuff divided because I don't want that crap happening. And Rich, I'm giving you all my empty hot sauce bottles.
That's awesome.
I got some
Dave,
really
you don't
cool
have to
logo
give me
there.
anything.
That your lips would have drank out of them, yeah.
Everett, I'm looking on the shelf here. I would give you a guitar, but my son has already claimed them. I know what I'm going to give you, Everett. I know what I'm going to give you. This is from me to you, my friend. I'm going to give you my unopened album of Appetite for Destruction and my bottle of Night Train.
And I get empty friggin' bottles. Unbelievable.
No, Rich, you're going to get my Carl candles. I got 2 Carl candles up here. You're going to get them.
All right.
Yeah, and I'll give you my Marvin the Martian stuff.
Well, one of them better visit me.
All right.
Happy Friday, everybody, as we discuss what we're giving each other when we die.
Exactly.
You notice what's funny about this whole thing? I ain't dying.
Me either, man. I'm going for a while. Anyways, we got about 6 minutes here before we got to head on out.
Jeez. Just like
it's been a quick one. I know. It's been quite quick tonight. And I want to say thank you guys for coming on in and make this fun. Looking towards April, as we get into the springtime, we're going to be seeing a lot more people heading outside, heading out to look at the stars. You know, I went outside during one of the breaks to check it out. It's a moonless night, a perfect UFO type night. Whether it's UFOs, whether it's ghosts, whether it's cryptids like Bigfoot or fairies or whatever it may be, Rich, if you were to tell people one or two things that they should be looking for if they want to have an experience, what would you tell them?
What to look for in the sky?
What to look for, how to look for it, times, you name it.
There is no specific time. For when it happened with me, it was all about feeling. It was like, I feel like I have to go outside for some reason. And I kind of was putting it off like, well, that's because I haven't been outside in an hour. So I feel like I might miss something because it becomes addicting. But then I realized, no, it's more than that. I think if you feel like you have to go outside and look at the sky, even if it's a feeling I just haven't been out, it might be some sort of connection being made to you and you're just not getting it. And a lot of people talk about that who have real UFO sightings, been abducted and all sorts of experiences that it was a feeling. So I say if you're going to go outside on a moonless night, clear, and you're looking for something ET or something different, well, first of all, look for weird movement in the sky that you normally wouldn't see from an airplane, a satellite, International Space Station, or stars. And also see if you're feeling like, if I don't look up, I'm going to miss something. That's all I can say. There really is nothing much more to it. And have a nice camera, a high 8, preferably.
And make darn sure you send Rich Giordano your proof.
Yes, video proof. Picture speaks 1,000 words. Isn't that what it is? But a video gives you 1,000,000. So I need that video.
How about you,
It'll be blurry and grainy. The only thing I can say is I agree with Rich, but you have to just keep your eyes and your ears and your senses open because you never know what's going to happen or where something's going to be. This stuff doesn't really run on a schedule. And one of the big things, I think, is if you're out looking at the sky and you're out in a dark area or a secluded area, be open to the other stuff, too. Just because you're staring at the sky doesn't mean that there isn't some creepy kind of dogman, stalking you from behind.
That is very true. Always keep your back to the door. Always keep your back to the door because you never know what's going to be happening. You never know what's going to be happening, that's for sure.
No, you never do. That's the whole thing. You think you're seeing something and it's something else. It's just, I don't know, get a spotting scope if you can, some night vision goggles. I know they're expensive, but get a tripod. Make sure you have one of those. That's always crucial. A lot of people with no tripods, just because their camera has an optical imaging stabilizer doesn't mean it's stable when you zoom in. And keep an open mind. That's it, Dave.
That is very true. And my big thing is, always be safe. Always be safe. Know your environment. Mm-hmm. Know where you're going. Know where your destination is. Let people know where you're going. Even if you're going out for a sky watch in the park or even in your backyard, just let somebody know. Because it never hurts. Because if something does happen that is weird and strange and all of a sudden you get beamed up to the Starship Enterprise to go for a ride, you want to make sure people at least know that you went back there looking for UFOs. Or if you're in the forest especially, it's not just Bigfoot or Dogman. It's the other things in the forest that could pretty much harm you. Harming
There's
isn't good.
A lot of weirdos in the forest.
There is. There absolutely is. Gentlemen, we got to start wrapping this thing up. And I want to say a big thank you to all of you for coming on the show tonight. Everett, it's been a lot of fun.
Oh, it's always great to be here.
Well, we enjoy your company as well, and we will, talk later. And Rich Giordano, do me a favor. Let everybody know your YouTube channel, where they can find you, your website.
Yeah, thanks. It's GUFON Radio stream on YouTube. And, of course, everything's free over there. The website, I've got 2 of them, gufon.org, where all the shows are uploaded from YouTube in MP3 format, as well as Twitter and Facebook posts and other things that are newsworthy, and gufon.net, which is really gufonnetwork.ning.com. It's an umbrella like Facebook for UFOs. You can join for free, be a part of the community, and have your own home page. It's free at gufon.net, and you can join me at Facebook and Twitter under GUFON Network, and I'll see you there. And the show's on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, live.
Absolutely, my friend. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I will talk to you. Our next Paranormal Roundtable will be Friday night, April 26th. And just like that, we want to say big thanks once again to Everett and Rich Giordano for coming on in tomorrow night and Sunday on the show, while I wander off into the wilderness to find my Zen and my Chi. We have Tessa Nicole Thomas coming in for Spaced Out Weekend. She gets going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. Go to our Spaced Out Radio page. You can check out all of our guests coming on up on Facebook. Don't forget, if you want to chat live, you can also join the SOR Space Travelers Club on Facebook. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot THAL rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. A special thank you to everyone this week for listening in at home, in your cars, at work, in one of our chat rooms, on Spreaker, Revolution Radio, the SOR Space Travelers on Facebook, and on Twitter at #SpacedOutRadio, and wherever you may be. Please remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for telling your friends, doing your part to make us bigger and better every single night, because together, my friends, we own the night. I will talk to you on Monday. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us into the weekend. Good night. See you later.